Okay, tonight, we have a Scorpio. Well, we're gonna be talking about a Scorpio full new moon that's happening in 6 days. So this is happening on November 19th. Today is really the 13th. So if you're here, you're in the perfect place to find out how this new moon is gonna be affecting you. All right. I've been talking about the Taurus full moon like the past 2 weeks, so every time I think about some moon transit, I'm saying full. But it's a new moon. New moons are about new beginnings. All right, so we're just gonna let some people get into the chat real quick. We're gonna just let some people get in. But like I said, new moons are about new beginnings. Okay, it looks like we have somebody just joined right now. Um, so what's up to you? I'm glad to have you on. And we're going to be going over exactly what this new moon in Scorpio is going to mean through each of the different house placements, okay? Aquamarine, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Right now it's pretty late out for me here in Spain, so let me know, where are you based? Where are you based, Aquamarine? Are you from the United States? Are you from Europe? Because right now it's dark out here in Europe, but I'm getting this stream done anyways. So let me know. But with that being said, okay, new moon in Scorpio, Edward Island, Canada. Shout out to Edward Island, Canada. Right now, I'm in the north of Spain, so that's where I'm based right now. It's about 7 p.m. there. That sounds about right. So, guys, if you're here and you just found out about astrology, then this is the perfect stream for you. As long as you know even what your sun sign is. Now, if you're somebody that's advanced and you already know about all your house placements, then this is the perfect new moon in Scorpio stream for you as well, because you're going to understand exactly how this new moon energy is going to be affecting you. So that being said, yeah, pretty much based in the north of Spain right now. But yeah, it's really dark out, but I'm here anyways. I'm here to share this energy a week early, because in 1 week this new moon is fully gonna hit. So we're letting some people get into the chat, and then we're gonna get started. The new moon is in my 10th house with Neptune, says Aquamarine. Well, Aquamarine, that's going to be hitting your career house. And number two, that's going to be hitting something inspirational. Something inspirational for you. So we're going to see what that means. But that being said, if you're here and you just found out about this channel, you just found out about astrology, you're in the perfect place. I'm going to make this new moon stupid simple. I'm going to make it make sense for you and how it's going to affect your chart. If you're here and you know everything about your houses and everything, then this is also the perfect stream for you, because you're going to understand and know exactly how this new moon is going to hit you. So this new moon is at 28 degrees of Scorpio. It's at the ending degrees of Scorpio. So Aquamarine just asked that. Okay, BM brother says hello. Hello, BM brother. Welcome. Welcome. So yeah, 28 degrees. It's on the cusp of Sagittarius. So it's really it's really having that breakthrough inspirational energy, okay? So looks like we have a good amount of people here in the chat. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, love from Nepal. Thank you. Welcome. So, okay, new moons. New moons are about new beginnings. The moon is dark, right? It's not visible, and Full moons are when it's like fully illuminated and it's like we're seeing the results of something. So right now in Scorpio, you're going to be having some sort of new transformation happening in your chart. So depending on what house it's in for you and like what your sign is for your ascendant is going to affect you in different ways. So new moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio is about what's happening under the surface as well. Like it's about things that are beneath the depths, and it's about things that are hidden. It's about the occult, and it's also about transformation, because transformation happens in the depths and behind the scenes of things. So right now, a ground up transformation is being started in each of our lives in some aspect. So let's go ahead and start by going through each of the houses. So, first house in Scorpio. Let's say you have the first house in Scorpio and this full moon is happening 28 degrees in there. Um, First house is about your identity and is ruled by Mars. So, something like some identity shift is happening for you during this month. Now, if I pull up the chart real quick, let me take a look at what the aspects are to this full moon, because I'll tell you what type of identity shift is occurring within the next week for you and is starting for you. So the identity shift, it looks like at 28 degrees there's a conjunction with Mercury retrograde. So you might be like reigniting some sort of old conversation with somebody from the past, and just them making you have some sort of realization or identity change within yourself. Um, Also, Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, and since this new moon is happening towards the cusp, like it could be about revisiting some sort of old like information, some sort of old knowledge. I know I recently bought a course and I haven't been using it. So for me, that Mercury in Sagittarius is definitely going to be me um, revisiting that course. But like, there's definitely some transformation that's happening to your identity if you have this new moon happening in your first house. Um, it's ruled by Mars as well, the first house, and Scorpio. So it's something that you might be initiating. You might be initiating some sort of transformation and revisiting past information or past places that you've been to. So, my N word, find a job and pay that child. Alfred. Okay. Okay. Um, so anyways, that being said, second house. Second house, new moon in Scorpio. If the new moon in Scorpio is happening in your second house, there is a ground up transformation starting in your finances at this time. Like, pay attention to what you're doing right now financially, what you're investing in, because it's going to pay off in some way or it's going to change your financial situation. Um, this new moon is making a trine to Jupiter. It's also making a trine to Neptune, both of which are in retrograde. So it's really having to do with past energies. Like something from your past is being brought up in a new light during this time. And with Mercury being retrograde, like it might come from some sort of internal self reflection. When Mercury is retrograde, this is really having to do, I forget if Mercury goes retrograde when it's like on the opposite side of the sun from Earth in the orbit, or if it's on the same side. I forget that one. I believe it goes retrograde um, when it is on the same side, like between the Earth and the sun. So Mercury is like super close, and it's almost represents overthinking. So you might be thinking deeply during this time, during retrograde, and just reflecting, and things from your past are being, you know, revealed in a new light. Like things are being transformed in a sudden way financially if you have it in the second house. So if you want to know exactly how this plays out for you and in your chart, you can send me an email to serithelover@gmail.com, just like my name of my channel. So I'll talk to you on there. And then just give me your birth chart and your information. So that being said, let's talk about the third house. The third house is about communication, it's about the mind, and it's about ideas. So you're going to be thinking about something new or transformational at this time. And also, third house is like, it's not like an angle like the midheaven or the ascendant, you know. So it's more of a way of doing things than like an actual aspect of your life, you know. Third house represents how we think. So something that might be changing is like the way that you're doing something, the way that you think about something, and the way that you approach things. And third house is about communication, you know, chatting, connection. So you might be, you know, changing the way that you connect or communicate. You might be getting a new phone or something like that. Or something might be starting right now in your communication that's changing how you will continue with that. Um, that being said, let's move on now to the fourth house. And if you want to know specifically how this is playing out in your chart, I do a free reading, but for a limited time. Um, you can just send me an email to serithelover@gmail.com with your birth information to find out exactly how this new moon in Scorpio is affecting your placements. And I still have to get back to some of you guys from the full moon in Taurus from last week. But I'm going to do all of those readings together, tonight. So send me an email with your information to find out how this new moon is affecting you. Okay, so that being said, fourth house. Let's say you have the new moon in Scorpio at 28 degrees in your fourth house. So the fourth house is about home life, and the fourth house is about our inner world. It's about our priorities. It's ruled by the moon, so it's where we spend our time and where we nurture things. So, like, something is transforming inside of your personal life, or like something in your private life that's not like public, and then something is transforming or starting to transform within like your priorities. Okay, and you might have a change of priorities at this time. So it really depends where the moon is natally for you. So again, send me an email with your specific birth information, because I'd love to know, where that placement is for you, for your moon, and how this is like transforming things from the ground up or behind the scenes. All right. All right, all right, all right. Now let's talk about the fifth house. The fifth house is all about expression. It's all about passion. It's all about energy. So right now your energy could be going through a whole change. So and again, new moon in Scorpio is about like starting a transformation in some way. So I mean, with the fifth house, like fifth house in Scorpio, you might like go through ego transformations throughout your life. And right now, like that might be one of those moments. Now, the sign that usually has the fifth house, and shout out to Ronaldo fan in the chat. What's up, my guy? I see you. So, if you have that fifth house in Scorpio, and right now the new moon is happening at 28 degrees of Scorpio, this would indicate some sort of like new transformation that's happening either within your passions or something that you're creating. Like, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one because usually when you create something, it doesn't transform after. So, again, the fifth house can have to be about your ego as well, how you express yourself, how you choose to create. And yeah, right now that could be like something that you're starting to make a change in and to transform. And then also this new moon is making a trine, or is going to be making a trine to Neptune, which has to do with inspiration, and then Jupiter, which has to do with faith. This is a really spiritual new moon. That's what this really means. Like right now, like people are going to be having spiritual breakthroughs, like in their faith, in their, belief in the universe or in God and all that. Um, and kind of revisiting old, like, like spiritual habits. That's another thing. So right now, like, your sense of like confidence or your ego could be being reinvented, or like going through like a former version or former transformation. But yeah, like there's so much retrogrades being conjunct or trine to this new moon. Like Mercury's retrograde conjunct to this new moon at the time that is happening, and Jupiter is also trine to this new moon, but is retrograde. So, and then Neptune is retrograde and trine to it. So this is having to do with the past, and like regardless of what house that you have this new moon like transiting through, like you should really be reflecting or taking a space from the world, because that's how you really take advantage of retrogrades. Uh, if you stay involved in day-to-day life, then the retrogrades are just gonna become blockages and things that you don't ever experience. So if you take space from the busyness of life and you take that meditative personal space alone, and to like reflect and to journal and all that stuff, and to just have a spiritual like practice or some sort of like spiritual space, like these retrogrades will play out for you, and you're going to experience like some sort of breakthrough in your faith at this time, or like your beliefs, and like your spirituality. Like there's going to be a moment of inspiration for a lot of people. So that being said, um, we were talking about the fifth house though. So if you have this new moon happening in your fifth house, and you want to know specifically how this plays out for you, I'd love to see where your natal sun is in your chart, because that's the ruler of the fifth house. You can send me an email to serithelover@gmail.com with your uh, birth time, birth date, birth location, and mention new moon in Scorpio. I'll go ahead and get that for you. All right. I'll get that taken care of for you. All right. So, that being said, the next house that we have is the sixth house. So, if you have the sixth house and have this new moon in Scorpio at 28 degrees happening in your sixth house, like there's some sort of transformation happening to your health, to your job, to your routines, and to your habits. You might be having a spiritual breakthrough, or you might be like suddenly jolted out of like a bad cycle or bad patterns that have been building up, and you might be thinking back to your past self and your past beliefs, like, damn, I used to be so much more spiritual, something like that. Because the sixth house is about, habits and routines and like work, and it's about also our health, because our habits become our health as well. So right now, something is having a transformation is starting in your sixth house of work, health, and of routines as well. So and it could be about your job as well. So now let's talk about the seventh house. If you have this new moon in the seventh house, which is your relationships, my God, you're gonna have some sort of new transformation when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your love life. And this could be a financially related like thing as well, because those of you guys that have the seventh house with Scorpio in it, you're either a Taurus rising or something close to that, like some close sign to Taurus. But especially if you're a Taurus rising, um, and you have this happening in your seventh house, like Like the way that you handle finances and relationships could be changing, or there could be a change in your power dynamic. So in the power dynamic, um, let's let's go. So that being said, yeah, like seventh house is about relationships, it's about other people. So some other person or some other person like that plays a significant role, could be starting a transformation for you. All right. So could be initiating some sort of change in your life. So I'd love to see, where your Venus placement is, where your seventh house ruler is, to get more insight on exactly how this new moon is going to be hitting your like chart, how it's going to be playing out for you. So send me an email with your birth information and mention the new moon in Scorpio for a free new moon in Scorpio reading at serithelover@gmail.com. Serithelover@gmail.com is the name. So that being said, let's move on to the eighth house. The eighth house, this is double Scorpio energy. Not only do you have this new moon in Scorpio, but you have it in your eighth house. Like eighth house is about taboo, eighth house is about sexuality, it's about desires, and it's about everything that's occult, and it's about deep topics, uncomfortable topics. So right now, like you might be first of all going through some sort of like new thing that's like taboo, new thing, new sex life or something like that that might be starting, but also new like occult practices, or making a transformation like to your eighth house in some way. Um, so literally like yeah, eighth house is about change, transformation. So you guys are literally making some sort of transformation right now, um, beneath the surface and behind the scenes, um, making a change to your identity, making a change to, like your values or something like that. Uh, it would be interesting to see where your natal Mars placement is, but you know, eighth house is also your psychology. So your psychology could be going through a change right now because you're having some sort of spiritual breakthrough. Because Jupiter is trine to this new moon, and so is Neptune. Those are both the most like spiritual planets, and it's in water signs. So this is really like inspirational energy, emotional breakthroughs. Like people are really gonna have emotional breakthroughs at this time. And for you, it's going to be in your eighth house if you have it in your eighth house, and that's about your psychology changing. So you might be like starting to get out of a depression or an emotional state that you've been in for long periods of time as well, because the eighth house is about fixed emotions. So is Scorpio. So that being said, let's talk about the ninth house now. If you have this new moon in Scorpio happening in your ninth house, well, I mean, your ninth house is about your beliefs. This is about religions. This is about faith. So definitely, this is like a spiritual transit for those of you guys that have it in the ninth house. Like you're gonna be getting like some sort of clarity, um, about spirituality, or like what you're wanting to focus on or like believe in, and you might be, yeah, that might be making a transformation in some way for you. The ninth house is also about like knowledge. It's also about higher education. It's also about travel. So you might be, you know, you could be thinking about traveling to a new place, that is going to transform you. So if you have travel plans at this time, like that new place is going to transform your perspective and your outlook on a deep psychological level. So um, that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. And maybe, maybe you're going back to an old place like from the past that you haven't been to in a long time. Maybe you're traveling back to that or thinking about it or in the planning stages of that. So the next house is the 10th house. Okay, who has this happening in their 10th house? By the way, like, let's take a pause and interact with the chat. Like, where do you guys have this happening? I know Aquamarine has this happening in the 10th house. So, which house is this for you? And what is your rising sign? How many of you guys know your rising sign? Okay, 6th house. Keisha has it happening in the 6th house. Yeah, I mean, in the 6th house, this is about your routines. Like you've probably been in a deep like routine and way of doing things, especially with having it in Scorpio or having Scorpio in your 6th house. And this new moon is kind of like gonna wake you up to, some sort of breakthrough. You're gonna have some sort of breakthrough that wakes you up to the wrong way of doing things. Like you're gonna realize, okay, I should make this change to how I do my work, or how I, structure my habits, or how I do my health and my routine and all that. Because maybe you've been doing it unconsciously. So that being said, that's the 6th house meaning. 10th house. All right. 10th house. If you have this new moon happening in your 10th house, this is about your career. So right now you're starting some new thing that's gonna transform your career or your public image, the way that you go about doing things there, the way that people start to see you as well. Again, these are just the starting stages right now. So things are really happening beneath the surface with this full moon. So it's not like a full moon where, I mean, sorry, with this new moon. So it's not like a full moon where you see the results already. Something transformative is happening beneath the scenes, behind the scenes. Um, so that's the thing, and it's about your 10th house. So this is your public image, your career, um, your goals, your ambitions, and you're gonna be having a breakthrough in your career. Like there's so many retrogrades right now, so the breakthrough is gonna be like something about the past, some old belief that you had, some old spiritual practice that you used to do but you fell off of, or something like that. um, is going to lead you to have a breakthrough in your career, or some sort of like epiphany about the past. This is crazy energy, like really emotional transformational energy, but it's like inspirational. And it's crazy to mention that because this new moon in Scorpio is happening at 28 degrees of Scorpio, so it's really on the cusp of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about epiphanies, it's about inspiration, it's about breakthroughs. So I'd love to see where your Saturn placement is if you have this in your 10th house, and where your Mars placement is. So send me an email with your birth information. If you want a free new moon in Scorpio reading, uh, send that to serithelover@gmail.com. And I got you, bro, or I got you, girl. So let's go ahead and get into the next house. All right. 11th house. Oh, I really love this energy. I love this energy though. 11th house is about freedom. 11th house is rebellious, and it's about change as well. 11th house is about not being dependent on any system or anyone. So, um, with the 11th house, okay, and Aquamarine mentioned, okay, before we get to 11th house, Aquamarine mentioned maybe I will get a better position at work using old skills, because they have 10th house new moon happening. That's very possible. And then, you know, definitely there's some sort of like epiphany moment or moment of inspiration. And it's something that you're not considering from the past, because all of these planets like Jupiter and Neptune that are making a grand trine to the new moon at 28 degrees Scorpio in 6 days from now, they're all retrograde. So something that you're not considering from the past is going to have, you know, you have an epiphany in your career for sure. Um, and then that could lead to starting a transformation right now in your career. But it's definitely epiphany energy. So it definitely like, okay, 11th house now. Um, this is the energy of freedom and like not being dependent on anybody. You know, everybody actually admires this energy. Everybody wants this Aquarius energy. Like everybody wants to have passive income. Everyone wants to not have to work like and like have a ton of money and stuff like that, or only work doing for themselves or doing what they want to do. You know what I mean? So that's really Aquarius energy because Aquarius is fixed air. Okay, so and that's 11th house as well. 11th house is the Aquarius energy. So right now, like, you're just making a change or like detaching from like dependency in some way, and you're starting to make that detachment right now because it's happening in your 11th house. Also, you might be, you know, making some sort of change to your network right now, starting something like that. Or this is interesting because I have to think about this a little bit more because network is another meaning of the 11th house. And so I'm curious to understand and to think through, you know, how this epiphany could be changing your network right now. You get what I mean? Um, but mm, you might be getting some sort of epiphany about your associations right now, like who you associate with. And that could lead you to wanting to make a change there in your 11th house to who you associate with. Because either they're bringing you down or they're bringing you up, you know? So, right now as well, Pluto is in Aquarius. So there's something really related to that energy with this new moon. And Pluto in Aquarius is really about like transformation of society through technology. And yeah, I think you guys are definitely like having some sort of like inspirational idea come back to you from the past, but more upgraded, and is an inspirational idea about how you can make money like online, or how you can like make some like money following your passions or your hobbies and stuff, because that's how 11th house people make money, is like they have that independence from like a boss or an authority. It's really that energy of being your own boss. So um yeah, that's what that new moon is really showing, that you're starting during this time. So if you're wanting to know in specific how that plays out for you, definitely shoot me an email to serithelover@gmail.com, uh, and let me know your birth details and mention new moon in Scorpio to get a free new moon in Scorpio reading only for a limited time. Okay, because obviously the new moon in Scorpio is just for this next week or 2 weeks or so. So that being said, let's talk about the 12th house now. Um, the 12th house is a spiritual house, and it's about our subconscious. The 12th house is about inspiration. 12th house is about fantasy and illusions. Um, 12th house is about healing. So it's interesting because 12th house is opposite of the 6th house. 6th house also has to do with health, but the 12th house is also having to do with healing in a different way. Um, so that being said, like you might be making some sort of healing transformation to yourself, healing like emotional baggage, you know, subconscious baggage, spiritual baggage. Um, you're definitely going to be having a spiritual breakthrough during this time, or a spiritual breakthrough is going to lead you to start something, um, and you know, again, like kind of like the third house, the 12th house is mutable. So unlike like 10th house and first house, which are the angles, like these mutable houses are more about ways of doing things. So like you could have some sort of unconscious like breakthrough uh, that changes the way that you see things, and that could be starting around the time of this new moon. So it would be interesting to see where your Jupiter placement and where your like Neptune is in your houses. Um, it's probably like if this sign is, I mean, if Scorpio is in your 12th house, then Neptune is probably like, it's either, I'm sorry, it's getting late out here and I didn't really sleep last night. Uh, this Neptune is probably like in your second through fourth, or second through fourth house. So it's really in that first quadrant. And let me make sure of that. Your first through fourth house, yeah. So, like, oh man. Out here right now in Spain, guys, it's getting late, but I'm here and I'm grinding through all of the houses for you guys so that you understand how this new moon in Scorpio is going to be affecting you and your house and in your chart. So go ahead as well, send me an email with your birth information and mentioning the new moon in Scorpio for me to specifically take a look at your chart and let you know how it's going to be affecting you based on the rulers and the aspects. But that being said, like, look, if this new moon is happening in your 12th house, like, the ruler is somewhere in your first to the fourth house, something like that, more than likely. Uh, unless you're older than 60 or something like that, which is possible. Like, I have subscribers at all ages, okay? But that being said, like, um, uh, you shouldn't probably take advice from a 20 something year old. You know what I'm saying? If you're over 60, but like, anyways, um, astrology resonates at all ages. But anyway, what I would say is that, okay, Neptune is, ruling your it's in your first to fourth house, so like it's in your first quadrant, and you're having like some sort of spiritual breakthrough, um, that's just changing your values, how you're focused on things or what you're focused on. And like you might renounce a lot of old values. You might just be like, oh, fuck this material stuff, fuck this material stuff. You know what I mean? Or F this like certain thing that I used to care about. Like, I believe in God now, or like I see like the universe now more. Like, that's the type of energy. Especially if you used to be in that energy in the past. That's definitely going to be a key like theme of this new moon for everyone. I always keep wanting to say full moon for some reason. It just keeps slipping. But um, that being said, like, yeah, 12th house, spirituality, epiphanies, breakthroughs, um, something subconscious transforming. So kind of like the eighth house, meaning you could be like getting out of a depression or out of some sort of like dark cloud that's been over your head, or some sort of tinted glasses, or like tinted way of seeing the world. Like, that could be changing right now. Especially if you had a different or better or more like inspiring way of seeing things in the past, because Jupiter is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde, so those past ways of seeing things are being reignited, and it's being tried to this new moon right now. So, um, and then last but not least, Pluto is in Aquarius. So, like, technology could play a role in this, or community could play a role in this right now. So, um, that's pretty much all the houses. Okay. Now, again, if you want to know how this specifically is going to affect your house or your chart, you can send an email to serithelover@gmail.com with your birth details and mention the new moon in Scorpio. And I'll do a free reading for you just for that limited time. But it's not gonna last forever, guys. This new moon in Scorpio is only, for 2 weeks, guys. Don't come to me in a month asking me, oh, Sari, how did that new moon affect me like a month ago? I'm not gonna do it. Okay, it's only for a limited time. I'll be on to something else by then. That being said, um, thank you guys for joining. I'm just gonna stay with you guys here in the chat and see. Okay, first of all, where do you guys have this new moon happening, and like, what's your ascendant signs? I want to know. Just want to interact with the chat real quick before I leave. Guys, let me know where you have this happening in your houses, and like, what's your rising signs. Maybe I can give you a little insight there. But real quick, that's pretty much it. It's getting late, man. Anyways, we have no takers. We have nobody has a ascendant sign. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm gonna wrap this up here. Thank you guys for joining, and this is how the new moon in Scorpio is really gonna be affecting your charts. In the next like 6 days, and maybe like a week after that as well. I just wanted to get this one out early this way. It gives enough time for people to just see that. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining. Leave a like, smash the like button right now. Subscribe to this channel if you like astrology, if you like these interpretations, and if you want to see more readings, more live streams just like this, smash the like button. So, yeah, we'll talk soon, and peace. I need to eat something right now.